Hi everyone. Today we're going to be looking at writing equations of parallel and perpendicular lines. So we're going to first talk about what a parallel line looks like. So we have parallel slope conjecture written here. Most of you have probably seen parallel lines or know what they are from middle school. So a quick recap, in a coordinate plane, two lines are parallel if their slopes are equal. So in other words, they have the exact same slope, the same level of steepness, so that those two lines never intersect. That's usually what most students remember about parallel lines, is that they never intersect. Most students say touch, but let's use the word intersect because it's a math word and it's super helpful because you're going to hear a lot in geometry. So here is one line, and it always helps to have a picture, guys. Another line that will never touch it, so they are parallel. And those lines would have the same slope. Okay, so given a problem on the STAR test, you might see something like this. Write the equation of the line parallel to the line given that passes through the point that is given. So if it's parallel, remember that means it has the same slope. Our slope, remember, is 4 in this line. So our new equation is going to have that same slope. But that doesn't mean that it has the same y-intercept. We do, however, know it goes through this point up here. Oopsies, right here. And so we're going to label it x1 and y1, because if you recall, we learned point slope form where we can plug a point and a slope in to get an equation. So we have y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So y1 is -1, so we would actually have y minus -1, a double negative, creating a plus. Our slope is 4, because we're using the same slope because they are parallel. And then we have x minus -2, so we have a double negative again, creating a plus. Now that is the equation, that's correct. But remember, there is another way to write it in y equals mx plus b form. So all we have to do is to convert it into that. So this is only one way of writing it. If I wanted to continue and write it in y equals mx plus b, I would start by distributing. 4 times x is 4x. 4 times 2 is 8. And the last step would be to minus 1 on both sides. So we end up with 4x plus 7. Notice that I have two boxed answers because they are both correct. They're just written two different ways. The first one is written in point slope form, and the second one is written in slope intercept form. So let's do one more example for parallel lines before we look at perpendicular. Okay, so here's an example of another parallel line one. Take one moment to pause this video and try it on your own. Okay guys, so I hope that you have tried it and that now you are just checking your answer. So it says write an equation of a line that is parallel. And as we know, parallel means they have the same slope. So our slope is -1/3. I'm going to write that down. My slope is -1/3. And my point that we're going to use is right here, -6, 2, where -6 is the x1 and 2 is the y1. So I'm going to use point slope formula again. And we're going to plug in our values. So y minus y1 is 2. The slope is -1/3. And x minus, and since our x1 is negative, then it's x minus -6. So the double negative will make it plus. Many of you just probably want to remember that it's the opposite sign of -6 would be a +6. So remember guys, like we said earlier, this is a correct answer. But on the STAR test or any other test, the answers might be in y equals mx plus b form. So let's remember how to convert it to y equals mx plus b. Start by distributing. The left side will stay the same. Negative 1/3 x times x is negative 1/3 x. Negative 1/3 times 6. First, a negative times a positive is a negative. And then 1/3 of 6 is 2. But remember, your Inspire calculator does allow you to multiply a fraction times a whole number. And our last step to get y alone is to add 2, the opposite of minus 2, to both sides. So y equals negative 1/3 x. And what do you know? Negative 2 plus 2 is 0. So this one also cancels out. So there's our final equation. And remember, guys, both of these are correct answers. They're just written two different ways. So I'm going to stop this video and there will be another one on perpendicular lines. Okay, have a great day, guys.